Okay, this is the second part of the video. If you're watching this one first, go back and watch the other video. I did this in two parts just in case I had any technical difficulties in the recording. I didn't need to do the whole kit and caboodle. So it looks like part one recorded successfully. I'm going to share the screen here. And this should be where we left off with the completed surface model here. Let me get the zoom window out of there. Alrighty. So I just click finish here, and what I'm left with in my hierarchy is a completed surface model here. I'll just turn this guy on, and you'll see that it's created more or less a surface for the points that I've modeled. Now I didn't clean this up too terribly well, but you can see that it's filled in the holes here where it was missing points, and it's done quite a bit of interpolation out here, taken quite a bit of liberty. And it might be the case that I want to, say, clean up this little extra bit out here. But note, in order for me to do that, I would need to create a mutable surface model, or I could have been more judicious with my clipping, whichever you like to do. Anyway, you'll notice that the position that it's sort of created these triangles at, what I mean is any particular triangle, it's sort of arbitrarily decided on a start point to start creating these triangles in this grade. It might be the case that I want to specifically say, you know, I must have a triangle that starts at a particular point. Let's take a measurement point and say, well, I really, really want a triangle to be right there where it starts and begins at, right there. So that is what, like measurement point 2, that is what that first setting is useful for. So let me just go back and I'll create a grade here, and I'm going to specify, come on, assistive modeling. And instead of deriving from the point extents, which just says, hey, I don't really mind where the triangles are created, where you choose to have the break, you know, the rows and the columns of each triangle, I'm going to tell the algorithm here is that you must create or start creating your rows and columns at point 2 and spread out from there. That's what this start point is going to do. So let me use exactly the same settings. I think 250 is what we used before. Create it right alongside in the same location as the other one, the same subdiscipline. I'll use all the other, keep all the other settings the same. And I'll go ahead and create this one. Again, hopefully it doesn't take longer than 30 seconds or a minute to create the surface model here. This is checking into the database, so tough to tell the progress. I know some of you might be eye-rolling. This is the typical progress bar behavior, but we can't exactly keep progress with the transaction to the database. Very difficult to do. Anyway, so the second surface model that I've created, hopefully, crossing my fingers here, indeed, it's chosen to have that break of triangles exactly where I specified it. I'm just going to overlay that first surface model onto this one. Might be a little bit confusing, but you can see the old one just sort of arbitrarily said, I'll create the triangles wherever. This one has specifically created a break here. This feature's intent was, well, if I have a mutable surface model, and let's say I have a berm or part of my grade which I want to guarantee that I can break the surface model and say delete a particular row beyond that, you can use this to guarantee that you'll have a break there. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. All right, well, I think that's about all that we have for this demonstration. Please feel free to play with some of those settings and see what's working best for the particular grade that you're interested in making. And do note that there's going to be a heavy different price to pay depending on how many points you're using, particularly if you're not using the quick pass, and also the size of the grade. If you're noticing that things are sluggish, not taking an hour or so to process, try using a larger grade step size and see if it's still giving you adequate results for the grade. One last quick note. This only works for horizontal points that represent a grade. So don't get any crazy ideas of trying to model walls just yet. This assumes that it's going to be working with the horizontal plane of points. So nothing crazy. And make sure that you're clipping points that are obviously generally representing that grade. If you have too many points that are let's say not part of the horizontal surface, it'll process them. You just might have unexpected results. See if I have any bumps here that I can show you that might have been better. Yeah, you can see a couple up here, maybe because I left some noisy points up here. So the more points like that you leave, the more sort of crazy your grade might might get some ripples up here. Anyway, have fun with it. I hope that it performs well, and I'm very interested to hear feedback, and thank you very much for listening to this video.